Hey, how you doing? Let's do it to it. We're gonna let me get a drink and then we'll get started. So we're getting into the poison pawn variation of the Winner. So we'll bring up the studies. I think that's right. Let me make sure I spelled Winner right. W-A-R-W. There we go. P-O-I-S-N. 4, E6, D4, D5. Knight C3, Knight B4, oops, not A3, because A3 actually loses to pawn takes. No, sorry, not pawn takes. Bishop takes, pawn takes, then pawn takes, so that's why that doesn't win. So he's got to push. C5, A3, takes, check, pawn takes. 93, 97, then queen G4. Queen C7, queen takes, rook G8, queen takes H7, C takes D, 92, knight B C6, F4, C takes D, queen D3, bishop D7, knight takes, oops, knight takes C3, A6, rook B1, knight A5, H4, and then knight F5. And the line, so this is where the line cuts off, so I'm going to have to put a mark by it. When we move, there we go. This is where this picks up. Rook let me make sure I have this right. There. I just want to make sure I have it all right. figure this out. It says rook h3. It must be knight rook b3. Castles. h5. Oops, that's the reason. h4. There we go. Now we got it. I knew there was a reason. I missed something. Here's the rook h3 that he was talking about. Castle queenside. h5. Bishop c6. Rook b4. And it's a slightly better position for white. So let's set up another one. We're going to be looking at some of the poison pawn variation of the French. We'll add another one. So we're going to put it in brackets, the subline of on move 13, so 13, and that is, instead of knight takes, it's actually white, so queen takes c3. So this is kind of the main line of the linear. And this is the poison pawn variation. C takes D, knight b8 here, f4, C takes D, queen e3, bishop d. instead of knight takes, it's queen takes. F5, rook b1, d4, queen d3, or queen d4, queen d3, and then castle queenside. This is actually considered to be an equal position, but there's a game that goes along with it. So I just got to the page. Where is that game? Ah, here we go. Black has an equal chance in this complex position. So the move continuation is rook g1, bishop e8, g4, knight h4, rook g3, and then f6 here to what you're trying to do is get to white's king. So this is your best opportunity to try to basically explode the center and just totally nuke it, as I like to say, just get rid of all the pawns. You have to do that. Then you could play f takes e, and then f takes e, knight takes e, and you've gotten rid of, or even if you wanted to, rather than knight, you could take with the queen. And then all the pawns are gone, and so now the white king is bare to the world in the center, and we can start ganging up on the king. That's kind of why f6, that's why f6 gets an exclam mark. It's an important move. See, e takes f is kind of a forced idea there. Then e5, and this is trying to, one way or another, we're trying to open the center. We have to. G5, bishop f7 here, with the idea of let's see here. Bishop h6 check. King b8. Kind of walking into a pin. You don't really ever want to do that. F takes e5. Excuse me. F takes e5 isn't a really good move. Knight takes e5, because that actually helps open the e file, and you really don't want to do that. Queen e4, rook g, e1. Now this is an exclam move. This is vital to your attack. King f1, knight e, g, queen g4, knight e g6, sorry. Make sure I have this right. Just give me a second. Oh, that's the reason. I did h6. I knew there was a problem. Here we go. Now this is a lot better of a move. Now that makes sense. F takes, and there. A5, G5, bishop F7, bishop check, king there. And then this was a mistake here. This was a mistake. Because like what we said, the same idea is it's gonna cause a lot of chaos. And that's kind of what we're wanting. Rook GE. And now this is exclam. King F1. E3-6, there we go. Now Queen G4, boom, there you go. Queen takes C2. We're attacking here, here, and here. So bishop F4 check. Knight takes F4. Queen takes F4 check. King E8 and rook to E1 and D3. Queen takes H4. queen takes, e2 check, exclam. This was a really important move here. This was like the ultimate tide turner and resignation by white. This was a resignation. Because what you're looking at is rook takes, pawn takes. If king here, then you have rook d1. When the king comes up, then you queen. And there's really no real good way to stop the mate from coming to pass here with queen e4. It's gone. You're done. So that's why at this point he resigned. It's pretty impressive, I gotta say. I really do like the poison pawn variation. If your opponent slips up one bit, you got him. Now we're doing rook b1. Okay, let's do it. Okay, do. Oh, you got a game? Okay. We'll do that. Oh, cool. Queen d3. We explored knight takes, we explored queen takes. Now we're going to look at rook b1. D4. Knight takes d4. Knight takes d4. Queen takes d4 and knight f4. And then this is, then we go into a whole move line. And we'll finish this one up, then we'll take a look at your game. One sec. So M. Okay. Now we're threatening mate, and it looks pretty desperate. Rook, oops. Sorry about that. King b8. Queen takes, and then bishop e4. And then bishop e3. And slightly better for white here. That's just slightly. I still like black's potential. I like black's potential. Okay, let's take a look at this. and then we'll get right back into our poison pawn variation and get that taken care of. Okay. Oops. There we go. Oh, you played the center game. Okay. Okay, I'll put them in when we get to the bottom. I don't think you had to play C. You wouldn't have had to play C4 here. I think I would have just castled at this point. I would have just castled here. I don't think on move 12 I would have castled, because there's nothing that's really going to hit you. If he plays C6, then you can just retreat your bishop back here and keep an eye on this. If he plays here, you always can push, and then if he takes, then you come in via this way. If he tries there, then you have check. Yeah, I was thinking about here. Let's see, at this point, I might have played bishop c4. If he pushes there, castles, pawn takes, rejects bishop, and then potentially bishop check. So maybe not bishop check yet. Maybe attack here. If there, bishop check at this point. And if king there, well, maybe instead of check, maybe that's better. I think that this might be better. And then if he moves, or maybe rook takes, knight takes. Boy, this is a kind of you have a lot of attack. Yeah, see, you can't block with this because your knight's pinned. So you actually have to move your king. It's not fun, but you got to do what you got to do there. So let's see here. Nice. You're actually up material here. So A5, G5, says G4, A7, G3, Queen takes knight check, King F4, A queen, King G4, Queen A5, King H4, and then mate. Yeah, that was a good play. Just wanting to see what did I was just I just wanted to know what was the rating of the computer or opponent that you faced. I was just wondering. Was it a friendly game? Because I know certain ratings play a certain way, and I was wondering if the opponent you were facing was like 1400 or something like that. Because they played really good until they got to an end game, and I was wondering if who you were facing was a 1400. But a good game so far, though. Okay, we'll do a couple more. That was actually really good. You didn't give up, and that's what matters. Okay, that's about right. That's about right. Yeah, they have a certain what happens at a certain level. They get into 1300 to 1400 range when I played them before a long time ago. Um, they get into this. They get confused, and that's what happens. They get overwhelmed, and they'll make the oddest of moves. Oh, not a problem. Glad to help. They make the oddest of moves, and that's what turns the tide of the battle. Like that one move for the rook, it blocks mate, but it actually ends up setting up a losing position for your friend, and that happens to the best of us. So you just gotta always be on the lookout. Think what your opponent's gonna do, what they have up their sleeve, as I like to say. And you have to also calculate it out if you have time. Make sure that it's the correct move. Let's see here. So dot dot one dot king d1. d4, d6. Oops, I gotta enlarge the board. Ah, that's nicer. This is the poison pawn variation of the Winier. A lot of blitz players play like this that you're going to be facing. Usually the knight moves to e2, but in this line here, they were talking about king d1. Now, and so you kind of start out, you just develop knight f3, c takes d, bishop f4 to hold onto the pawn with a piece rather than a pawn. Bishop d. Our idea is to castle queenside and try to ram this pawn down the throat of our opponent. Knight g5, rook f8. I know this is a little odd, but in theory, rook f8 could be played, but there is a line where takes here, and if he takes, then rook f, and now he's in serious trouble here. He's in serious trouble. He doesn't have to move, but he's in trouble, let's just say that. And he really has got to be careful, because one of your moves is going to be bishop e1, e8, and winning this. So he's going to actually have to play something like bishop here, or maybe instead of bishop, I've seen where they actually, boy, how do we do this so that this was a mistake? Takings was actually a blunder. Because if he would take there, so what you have to do is remember that this move here is wrong. It's actually this move here, and then it's a big time mistake. He could try something like that, but then you can actually play rook g6. Oops, sorry. Again, that was my mistake there. So basically you'd have to move it. Yeah, you just gotta always be on guard, make sure that your moves go along with the plan. Bishop d3, queen b6, bishop b3, and d4. Now we get to go over a game. We'll see what the continuation is. Bishop f4, knight g6. That's an interesting move. Now bishop takes g6. F takes g6. Queen takes g6. Check. King d8. Queen takes d6 is actually a dubious move. It doesn't really have much going for it. Queen takes, rook takes f, Queen G8, King C7, Queen takes A8 is actually a mistake at this point, because now the queen is offside and D3 actually wins. He's saying there's one more line. 94 could actually be played here. Castles. Knight D6. King B8. Bishop G3. And then knight takes. Alright. Let's see. G takes E5. And slowly loses the game. Surprisingly, this slowly loses the game. Black is basically disintegrating, slowly disintegrating white, because there's really not much that your opponent can do. They try grabbing material, you can actually grab here. So if they tried something like this, oh, it's pinned, okay. And probably queen there. Takes. You could actually take here because it's pinned. So yeah, at this point, so let's do it. We'll do the castles. Bishop D3. Knight BD6. Queen H5. Knight G6. Knight F3. Queen C7. Bishop E3. And then C4. Bishop takes G. F takes G. Because this allows us to open up our rooks. So this is actually a pretty good setup for us, because 3 pawns are stopping 4. So that's actually really good. Queen G4. Queen F7. Oops, that's wrong. I had G5, it's G4. Okay, G5. h6. Knight h3, a5. Oops, nope. What did I miss something here? There we go. Okay, one more, and then we'll get on to a Marshall game. Now we got a subline. Okay, let's do it. Boom, boom. Oh, I get why it works. Because of this here. It's attacking the queen. Surprisingly, this is slightly better for black because of your pawn structure. You are down in exchange, but because of how fractured these pawns are, it's not disturbing your position at all. Alrighty. Oops. Okay, let's get another board up. But we have to do our Marshall game really efficiently. And we're not going to do any sublines. We're just going to go through it really efficiently and show the game. So d4, d5, knight f3, here, b3. That was a mistake. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Can't be right. What am I missing here? Oh, white. Okay. There's something. I did a mistake here. This was this area here. This takes, pawn takes, knight takes, and then back. There we go. Okay. Oh, Karakhan. No, this is actually the Queen's pawn opening. It's kind of a branch of the London system. It's kind of like a poison pawn variation for black, though. I think this is a Grandmaster draw. I think this is a Grandmaster draw. So if you're wondering why he didn't take, it would actually be a perpetual draw. Now black has won the pawns, and he does not feel so happy. His queen is out of play, his game is undeveloped, and now it's black who's in charge. I'm missing something here. Ay, ay, ay. Sit there. Perfect. 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 Good. Castles. So far, so good. There we go. Knight. This takes. Pawn takes. Knight there. Pawn H. Pawn B. Bishop. Queen there. Bishop there. B2. Queen takes. Oh, okay. Queen rook to. Ah, that's the problem. It's weird. It says that B4, but I don't understand. Maybe I did some. Oh, it's this. Okay, this was the problem. Okay. This was the sitch. there's the impasse. Okay. Sometimes it's yeah. Oh, this is an interesting move. Now the fun begins. From this point on, Burn plays with desperation and an ingenious knowledge, and full well knows the success of this attack will inevitably come to pass. And then knight check. Okay, here. Queen to h5. Knight e5. Queen h7 check. King b1 check. k2 check. Oh, king to knight 3. Okay. Gotcha. Oops, I did the king to the wrong spot. Double exclam. This is another double exclam. Exclam. Where resigns, all well that ends well. White resigns here. Say. Hey, how you doing? Okay, let's do a couple puzzles now. Excuse me, with the hiccup. Okay. I'll get us set up on a puzzle, then I'll be right back and I'll give you a chance to solve it. Let's see, bishop, knight, queen, knight, pawn, king, king, and then let's see, 2, 1, 3. Oh, the queen's in the wrong spot. Okay. Okay, I'll be right back. You take a look at this. It's Let's see. Do you see the move? Do you see the move? Actually, it's I believe queen e5. If you did queen b1, the knight would intercept, and you don't really have much after that. Let's see. You can he can run after that. After the knight intercepts, king could actually go to g4 after that, and the queen would take king g4. But see, it's mate in 2, so you have to find the mate in 2. We'll finish up this page and then we'll go into our endgame. Yeah, so we'll get this. We're gonna get this totally taken care of. We're gonna win. We're gonna win, and we're gonna have fun doing it. Let me see here if we have it all there. Oops, I forgot a queen for black. Yep, we got it. No, the bishop could actually take at that point. The bishop could actually take. Yeah. Let's see if we play check here. It's actually, you had the right idea. It's queen b5 check. Queen b5. Rook takes, then c takes is mate. So yeah. You had the right idea though, so just wrong spot. Right idea. And that, you know what? That just, you know what? How do you get better? Is you just keep practicing. Yeah, never stop learning, and you'll get better every day. And that's just how the Lord made us, is that we continue to learn every day. And the goal is to learn and learn it good enough so that we don't repeat it. If it's a good thing, then we repeat it, but if it's a bad thing, we don't repeat it. All right. There we go. Oops, just 1 second. Alright, I had to go back real quick. There we go. So you're thinking queen h6. Okay, yeah, I guess that would work, wouldn't it? Queen h6, bishop takes, and then that, yep. So here, really there's nothing you could do but take, and then you have mate. Yep, good job. Okay. We have 3 more, and then we'll start our endgame. Alright. Oops, I almost forgot the king. Let me just make sure again. Yep, there we go. You got it. There you go. we go. One more after this one, and endgame, here we come. Yep, sorry, I should do that. Yeah, I should put that in there. Yep. Yeah, I should have put that in there. White move mate 2. Wait a second, am I missing something here? Hold on. Oh, I am. I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. That's my fault. Sorry. I had a bishop in the wrong spot. There we go. Now this makes more sense. I think it's queen takes. Let's see there. Where is it? There's a check here. Yeah, I think it's queen d7 check, queen takes, and then there. If king blocks. Not there. Oh yeah. That's right. Okay. I was wondering about that. So if bishop intercepts, queen h there. Okay, as mate. Gotcha. One more. Sorry about that mishap with the rook. I don't know how I got a rook in there. I thought I put a bishop in there. When the position sometimes doesn't work out and it looks like there's no mate, I sometimes check with the engine just to see if there's a checkmate. And if there isn't a checkmate, then I know that I must have put a piece somewhere wrong. So it's kind of like my double check in math. If you do math and you have a check to make sure your answer's right, that's what I do with that. There we go. This should be spot on this time. Let me just run through real quick. I believe this is 100% on. So let me just see. Yep, that line's right. That line's right. That line's right. That line's right. And that line's perfect. This is it. This is 100%. This one's a cool one here. You should really like this one. Don't get to do this very often. You don't get to mate with something like this every chessboard game or chess game. This is a sweet mate. It's a double exclam. Boom. Double exclam. I believe it's queen d check, rook takes, and then pawn takes. Yeah, don't get to have that happen very often. See, the reason the bishop move doesn't work out here is, yeah, the bishop there. Perfect work. Good job. Now we'll put it on the next page where we'll pick up. Alright, let's do it to it. Get into the end game now. A Smyslov game. The following game was that we're going to be doing a Smyslov was a match against Bonvinic for the World Championship. It demonstrates how deeply and flawless he could play these positions. How deeply and flawless Smyslov could play this. So this is impressive. I like watching some end games. End games are like super duper fun. To get better, you have to master your end game. As much as one dislikes it, that's just how it has to be. Otherwise, you won't get past a certain rating. And that's what my Grandmaster teacher told me and taught me. And so I kind of fell in love with the end game in chess. How beautiful it is. So it's black to move, and I'll make this as a study. Queen h6. Smyslov's black, and Bonvinic is white. The game was adjourned at this diagrammed position. This was Smyslov's sealed move. Later, he had to say this: the game was adjourned in the following morning, his second. Goldenberg, Bonvinic's second, sent me an offer of a draw. The b3 pawn and the knight on c2 creates a defensive line which the black king is unable to cross. However, black has a plan of infiltrating with his king to the queen side using a Zugzwang motif via the first rank. And so the game continued. King to knight d2, bishop e7, and then Kasparov pointed out, because white played g3, which was actually a mistake here. This was the Tide Turner move. Kasparov pointed out that white could have drawn by exchanging off black's a bishop, his a bishop. How he could have done that was playing a3, king h5, b4, pawn takes b4, pawn takes b4, bishop takes h, b5, bishop d8, king g3, g5, f takes g, king takes g5, f3, bishop b6, knight e1, also what he is saying is this move here, exclam, is actually a drawn position too. King f6, king e2, f4, king d3, exclam. He's not really worried about this pawn. He wants to go after this one here, liberate his knight. F takes e, knight c2, exclam. This now stops this and protects here, and this is actually heading towards a draw. e5, knight takes e3, king e6, d takes d5, knight takes d5, exclam, king takes d5, d takes e5, bishop d4, and b6. And black can't avoid a draw since he loses his final pawn after he takes back. So if he tries grabbing here, he loses his final pawn, and after takes, it's insufficient material. Oh. But it's insufficient material at this point. But he played king g3, which was actually a mistake. This allowed king h5, king f3, king takes h4, knight e1, g5, f takes g5, king takes g5, because our bishop's really strong guarding this here, so we want to take with the king. Knight c2, and bishop d6 at this point to cover these two squares, and knight e1. According to Smyslov, a3 no longer works. a3 no longer works because of knight h4, a4. Actually, sorry, not a4. b4, and then a4 here. b5, bishop c7, knight e1, knight g5, knight c2, bishop a5, knight e1, bishop b7 or b6, knight c2, and then king f6, and the pawn on a5, the a file improves black's winning chances. So king h4. The beginning of a beautiful journey by the Black King. There's actually a game that comes into mind. It's the game between I'll put it in. Don't want to say it. Sometimes these names are hard to say, and I don't want to say it wrong. This is the game. This is the player who played a game very similar to this. This is that's who played as white, and then it's Jay Peters. Those were the two guys, and I apologize about the pronouncement of the first person. I don't think I pronounced it right, so for those that I can't pronounce, I just write in who Jeremy Silman's talking about. This game came to mind for Jeremy Silman. So knight c2, king h3, and the king's going, woo, I'm going around the board we go. He's taking a nice journey. Remember how we talked about small steps? This is a small step for as our note to the 8th move. This is a note to the 10th move that a3 still doesn't do much because king h2, king f2, bishop e7, b4, and then a5, a4 exclaim at this point. It's still strong. This is still strong. So he tries to hold it all together with knight a1, king h2, king f2, and then bishop g3 check. This forces white's king to give ground and allow black's king to move closer and to the queen side. So king f3, king h4. This pawn guards here and the bishop guards here, so the king can't approach to attack the bishop, which allows the king to basically infiltrate deeper into the enemy camp with the knight. You have to make sure your calculation is really good, because you would really not like to end up potentially getting checkmated or in a perpetual and losing material. So you just have to make sure your calculation's 110%. They're saying that if he would have went king f1, then bishop h4 still, king e2, and then king g2, and he still has to give way more, keep giving way a space, and he's succeeded actually this much more territory to black. So white's actually stuck on, if you want to think about it, this amount of territory. This is what white has. This is what black's got. All this territory is, if you want to think about it, black's. So this is all that white has here. So I'll make different colors so you can see. And then this is all that white has. This is it. Now you get to see how when Jeremy Silma talked about giving way and having his king basically have to give up space, he gave up around 3, 9, 12 squares to black. It's just incredible how much territory black has. King g2, and now, like what we said, he got all the territory that he wanted. Now white's so cramped he can't even play his knight to e1 anymore, because if he did that, the bishop would trade and then the king would come in, and there's enough tempos to cause a problem. Bishop e7. Since black has taken over this much more land, the bishop's like, the king goes, "Don't worry, bishop, I got your back. I'm holding. I've set up a supply depot right here. You don't have to worry about setting up your snipers. Come up here, guard the outer perimeter a little bit, and then we'll see what we can actually do. And potentially, maybe if the knight moves, we can slip the bishop right inside and maybe gobble up a little bit more territory." Six. Our first Zugzwang. White can't move his knight due to the threat of f4, f5, f4, and he doesn't want to play king d3, because then king f2 would he'd succeed even more land. More land would be annexed by black. So a3 was played here. If king d3, then king f2, or king f, 2 would be played at this point. And now if he tries a3, or if he tries taking here, let's see, is there another one? Yeah, king a1, knight a1. So we'll go down a3 first, bishop e7, b4, and then here. And there is a theme we've seen before. This is one of the themes. Now if he takes, then king e2, we gain more space. a3, e5, b4, takes, check, c takes, actually, hold on, let me make sure, what did I do? So so e5, oh, b4, he takes, yep, king e1, c2, king d1, knight e1, bishop e7, knight c2, and then bishop d6, knight a1, king c1, king takes, b4 check, king d3, king b2, knight c2, king takes a, and winning by Smyslov. Let me just make sure that I'm doing that. So king takes e2, e3, e5. Okay. Bishop e7. Let me see here. We almost. Yep, we got this line here, and then this is the last game of Smyslov that we will be going over. Then we go over to Robert James Fischer. So b4, Let's allow Smyslov to tell us what happens after the advance of a4. If he goes a4 here, bishop d6, knight e1, e5, d takes e5, bishop takes e5, sorry, just for a sec there, I was thinking, so king d3, d4, exclam by Smyslov, e takes d, bishop d6, and if he takes the pawn, then he has to go here. If we play king takes, then after the king moves, you actually win the knight. So that would be winning. So he can't take. So king, so knight c2, f4, king takes, f3, knight e3, f2, king d3, king f3, knight f1, and then f4. Lovely example of bishop dominating knight. D4, d5, g2, king e2, then king g1, and black wins at this point. So a4 was played as we have seen before, knight e1, and then bishop g5 to go after this pawn. He's in another Zook swamp position. King d3, and then king f2. Since if the knight, if f4, so if like there's a knight move here, it allows f4 to be played. I think I did the wrong. There we go. If b5, bishop d8, d8. Oh, I got it. Sorry about that. Just give me a second. Here. Oh, b5, bishop d8. Okay, this is what we're talking about. Bishop b1. How in the world? One second. Let me just. Let me just get these the first line put in. did I overlook here? So 91. Oh, that's my problem. So 6. There we go. Now here. Okay, we're good now. We're good now. And then we'll just get this one done, and then we'll call it after I put in the secondary line. Our fourth and final Zugzwang. Every legal move either hangs upon or allows black to step to allow black to step closer to E1. King E1. Exclam, and this is actually a winning move here. White resigns due to knight C2 check, king D1, knight A1, king C1, knight C2, and then king, not B1, sorry, king B2. He resigned. This is where he resigned here on king E1. If we go back to 23 here, if instead of that we played B5 here, here's the subline I wanted to go over. 91, A5, A here, knight C2, king G4, A1, bishop C7, knight C2, bishop B6, knight B4, F4, he takes, bishop takes, king F3, oh, king F3, sorry. Okay, make sure I have this right. Now king D3. Bishop B6. King takes. Knight C6. Knight E3. King B4. D4. Knight E5. D3. King takes. D2. Knight C4. King E2. Knight takes. King takes. And then king B4. E5. A4. A4. A5. B. There. And black wins. Smyslov said the black wins at this point. Okay, we'll call it on this because this is the last one, and then we'll pick up Robert James Fisher, the 11th world champion, tomorrow. Great job on all the studies and sticking with us. Do you have any questions before I log off? You have any questions? take that as a no. So then we'll call it a day. Or okay. I wanted to thank you for all logging on. Thank you for your game that you participated in there. I'll see if I can pronounce. Let me see. Exception to the rule. Thank you for excuse me for the game that you participated in. And remember, always honor the Lord with your talents. When we're doing good, we gotta keep just pushing forward and enjoying, having fun, and always remembering to, like Bruce Lee said, go with like the mind has a plateau. Try our best to go past that plateau every day, not being satisfied for second place, because in Bud's second place is called first loser. And there's only in it, as I like to say, they say this too. It pays to be a winner. It pays to be a winner. So what we have to remember is as well that every long journey begins with one small step. That's what Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan said. And Bruce Lee said they didn't fear the person who practiced 10,000 individual kicks, but he feared the person who practiced one kick 10,000 times. So like when we study our end game and we're improving on our end game, we're doing like what Bruce Lee said. We're becoming, they're going to be afraid of us as chess players because of our end game understanding, and that we can take it to the end game, be comfortable there, and win like Smyslov did. He won this game that catapulted him to become the world champion over Botvinnik. And don't remember what we do. We don't. If you ever fall down, you don't give up. You knuckle down and get right back up. And remember to treasure your victories and learn from your losses. And remember that mistakes do not define you. It's how you handle the mistake that defines you as a chess player and a person. When you become what you think about, like in the little engine that could, if you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't. Either way, you're right. That's kind of how it is. And always never forget to bring your Grandmaster glasses when you're looking at the board. Look for those moves. I like to call them Puzzles Rush. I'm going to give it a nickname, PR, that stands for Puzzle Rush. You have to bring your PR glasses with you, and your GM PR glasses with you, Grandmaster Puzzle Rush glasses. And let me see. I think that's it. Yeah, and so we have to remember to hang up our coat, to hang up our hats, to sit down and study when most won't. A chess cruncher does, and that makes all the difference. As Wesley So says to the Lord Jesus, and as I say, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow, and I'll keep pushing. We'll keep pushing forward, and now we're into Robert James Fischer, which is the last part of the Jeremy Silman Endgames course. Hoorah! Yeah. But remember to honor the Lord with your talents, the Lord Jesus always. And remember what Hannibal Smith said. He loved it when a plan came together. But what's a good plan? A plan is predicting what your opponent's going to do. Know what they're going to do, have your plan, and work around your plan by stopping theirs and then implementing yours. So don't forget about yours, but sometimes you have to take a moment out of your play to stop your opponent's ideas so that you can implement yours. Well, go Team Chess Cruncher, hoorah, be blessed. 2 thumbs up. Keep studying, having fun, and always remember, you know what? We have a great gift as chess players, a mind the Lord's given us, and to always have fun as well. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Be blessed. I'll see you tomorrow.